The high drama inside the Senate showed no signs of slowing down today. An emotional Senator Pia Cayetano fighting back. Tears opened up about last week's Senate shooting incident. She also took aim at members of the minority, questioning why some had already left their premises without checking if their colleagues were safe. But that's not even the biggest story of the day, which is the Supreme Court denying the temporary restraining order petition of Senator Ronald De La Rosa, a bid that sought to block his possible arrest by the International Criminal Court. But the political theater wasn't simply confined to the Senate. Over at the House of Representatives, Congressman Percy Sandanya delivered lines worthy of a primetime teledrama. Taking aim at political dynasties in the upper chamber, Sandanya commented, had it not been for senators sharing the same surnames, there would never have been a, quote, primetime bida. Emotions ran high at the Senate this afternoon after Senator Pia Cayetano broke down in tears during a session. And for details, we have our mobile journalist in the Senate, Merimon Reyes. Merimon, okay, what exactly led to this literally tearful incident?
Lured in today's plenary session here at the Senate, meron talagang part na privileged speech coming from Senator Risa Hontiveros. And supposedly, that was tackling yung incident last week, yung naging exchange ng bullets, yung naging pagpitik ng barel either from the side of the OSAA and some agents of the NBI. Pero nauna kasi nagmanifest si Senator Erwin Tulfo, and he was actually recalling na lahat ng mga tao daw, especially yung mga nasa labas, nalilito pa. There's confusion sa kung ano ba talaga yung nangyari, a question on accountability and yung effectiveness ng sistema. Kaya ang naging manifestation kanina ni Senator Tulfo was to have an independent and an in-depth investigation pa sa mga nangyari. Senator Raffy Tulfo, kapatid ni Senator Erwin, sinagundahan niya ito. At ang gusto pa nga, ang final naman ni Senator Raffy is for a comprehensive training sa personnel ng Office of the Sergeant at Arms. Si Senator Risa Hontiveros, nung nakapag-privilege speech na siya, ang nilalaman kasi nito, again, confusion sa mga tao, yung justification nila na yung mga Senate minority members, kaya rin daw sila wala nung mga panahon na yun. Dahil nga, una, sinabi rin to ni Senator Erwin, supposedly may all-members caucus after ng session during that time, pero naging majority caucus na lang ito. So, in the hours, yung tapos na yung office hours nila, hindi naman na rin nila kailangang magstay, kaya sila umalis. Kaya sinasabi rin ni Senator Erwin kanina, pangit lang, hindi raw tama na merong claims na responsable daw itong mga senador ng walang basehan o ebidensya. Senator Risa Hontiveros,
I think the word we're looking for is insinuations. Right?
And Senator Risa Hontiveros was actually making mention kanina na hindi raw pwedeng kumilos ang upper chamber na para bang walang nangyari ngayon. And then later on, itong si Senator Pia Cayetano, she took to the floor an emotional recalling of what happened and what transpired last week. Nire-respeto niya raw yung experiences ng mga senador na nasa labas ng Senado during those times, pero ito raw yung experience and yung trauma na naranasan nilang mga senador na nandito sa Senado during that time. Let's listen to a part of the session and the emotional Senator Pia Cayetano.
Takot na takot po ako na kailangan ko na magpaalam sa mga anak ko. Walang ni isa sa inyong nangamusta sa amin.
And then, Lord, pagkatapos si Senator Pia during that time, si Senator Risa Hontiveros, tumayo naman siya, correcting yung context. Kasi ang sinasabi ni Senator Pia, hindi raw walang nangyari. Kasi for them na nandito, especially minority bloc members, nandito sila and sila raw yung personal nakaranas nung takot during those times. Pero ang clarification ni Senator Risa on that note, ang point niya is para bang walang nangyari ngayon. Kumbaga, moving forward, what's next for the Senate, what's next for the institution, and what answers ang kinakailangan pa ng clarification, lalong-lalo sa ano ba talaga ang nangyari. Kasi ang nasabi ni Senator Risa, yung unfolding ng events as it happened, plus kung paano siya lumalabas sa publiko, may confusion pa. Kaya gusto nila magkaroon ng clarification. During those times, nakita natin sila Senator Loren Legarda, Senate President Pro Tempore, Senator Amy Marcos, some members of the minority bloc, kinoconsuelo, kinocomfort si Senator Pia during those times. Lourdes.
Oo. So, from last week's shooting incident, ngayon may mga luhaan, literal na may luhaan. Pero, so this basically stems from a misunderstanding of the phrase na para bang walang nangyari.
Walang
As if ang impression kasi ni Senador na Ontiveros ay parang nag-move on na lang ang upper chamber na hindi na binalikan itong isyong to, right? Parang gano'n, di ba? Na nag-manifest din initially nauna si Senator Tulfo.
Tama, Lord. Kasi itong members of the minority, ang gusto nila ay maging malinaw pa talaga. Ano ba talaga yung nangyari? Bakit nangyari? And later on, sa mga araw na ito, ano nang sunod? Kung may kailangang maging accountable, sino ang magiging accountable? And anong reforms ang kakailanganin para maiwasan na yung ganitong pangyayari? Kasi even Senator Sherwin Gatchalian, kahapon, ang sinasabi niya rin, mas maganda nga raw magkaroon ng independent investigation pa para maging fair. Hindi lang yung investigation na ginagawa on the side of the NBI, ng OSA or the Office of the Sergeant at Arms. Ito yung kailangan mas maging malinaw talaga. Kaya si Senator Raffy naman, na naging questions niya, trained daw ba talaga yung OSA personnel sa pag-handle ng ganong chaotic na situations or very anxious moments for people inside the Senate building or within the Senate premises. Kaya ang gusto nga ni Senator Raffy, comprehensive training sa OSA personnel. And after magsalita ni Senator Risa, to note, si Senator Rodante Marcoleta from the majority, gusto niya sana mag-interpellate. May few questions siya in mind, pero ang napagkasunduan ng Senado kanina so far is to defer it until by Monday next week sa session para raw mas may oras. Kasi ni-recognize pa kanina yung ilang mga atleta, may pending legislations pa na needed to be referred to their committees, respective committees. So hindi natuloy yung Q&A proper. And well, yung meet pa ng exchange of the senators from both blocks, we'll be anticipating that next week.
Buti naman kasi hahaba pa yan, ano? At mukhang maraming nakapila para magkomento or may manifestation tungkol sa nangyari nung isang linggo. Pero meron silang ilang araw. Bakit ngayon lang bigla naglalabasan ito mga to? Kahapon maraming oras or talagang pinuno ng mga pang-reference na lamang yung araw kahapon?
Well, kasi kanina, sa nakuha natin, it was part of the agenda for this day, yung privilege speech ni Senator Risa. Nung kahapon and even nung Monday, wala naman tayong nakita naka-line up pa, and hindi rin naman siya na-bring up sa session during those times. So, we're not sure since ang privilege speeches kasi or manifestations, usually pinaghahandaan yan or pinag-uusapan ng mga senador or kung may kapwa senador na involved na susuportahan yung manifestation or yung privilege speeches, probably it may be a consideration of time and preparation kung ano yung magiging laman ng itataklan nila sa session floor.
Meron bang response ang at least anyone from the current majority doon sa sinabi ni Senator Tulfo against the insinuations that the minority may have suspiciously have something to do with it kasi they were glaringly absent when the quote-unquote incident happened?
Lord, ang sinabi rin dyan ni Senator Erwin, yung justify niya na yung mga miyembro ng minority, hindi na sila kasama doon sa supposedly all members caucus, naging majority caucus na lang siya. Kaya after the session, at wala naman na raw ibang kailangan pang gawin yung mga senators from the minority dito sa loob ng building, umalis sila. That's why yung nagiging claims o yung mga bintang na may alam daw o may kinalaman daw itong mga senador from the minority, kaya may kinalaman sila sa kung ano ang nangyari last week na putukan at may idea raw sila kaya sila umalis ng mas maaga. Ito yung sinasabing hindi raw tama. Lalo pat walang ebidensya na nag-point dyan. And to add din yung sa case naman ni Sergeant at Arms General Mau Aplasca, kanina nakausap din ng media siya kasi nga may recommended charges against him and 10 of his personnel din. Ang nasabi dito ni General Aplasca, yung videos daw na ni-replay o tinignan ulit ng DILG din kasama ang palasyo kahapon, splice daw ang mga ito to show the narrative na wala raw ataking nangyari sa Senado. Whereas, ang sinasabi ng Senate leadership led by SP Alan Peter Cayetano, Well, he still maintains his notion na the Senate was under attack during those times. Sabi ni General
Wow.
Aplasca, meron daw silang ilalabas na full copy or full documentation of what actually transpired during those times. Kailangan lang daw nilang konting oras o panahon to prepare this.
Mukhang problematic to, Marymon, kung yung isang institusyon ay hindi kinikilala or kine-question yung proseso ng mga otoridad. Literally, it's the PNP, no? Na nagpakita kahapon at sinasabi nila, pinagdududahan nila na maaring splice daw ito. Siguro naman, kasi kailangan mong for brevity, di ba? Pero
Yes.
tingnan natin. So, ibig sabihin, the fact na maraming humihingi pa rin, Marymon, kanina narinig ko, maraming nakapilat, maraming humihingi ng kopya ng mga CCTV footage.
Yes.
Ibig sabihin ito, ayaw pa rin nilang tanggapin itong pinakita kahapon sa press conference ng Malacanang.
Oh, Lord, and ang nasabi pa kanina ni Senator Robin Padilla from the majority, hindi naman daw AI yung footages. Though, this one plus yung sinabi ni General Aplasca na splice yung videos where yet to actually connect the dots between sa mga sinasabi nila. Pero ang malinaw sa ngayon, especially from the minority members, they still want to seek and they are still seeking clarity. Ano ba talaga yung nangyari? Kung may dapat managot, sino ang dapat managot? If there are lapses in the system, ano yung lapses na to? And moving forward, ano yung kakailanganin to ensure na hindi na to mauulit? Kasi ang sinabi pa nila dito, hindi lang naman daw sila, maging yung mga staff and even our friends from the media, lahat humantong naman sa experience na ito. Umabot sila sa sitwasyon na tumakbo, na naghabulan. So, I don't think may magkakaroon pa ng end soon sa pagka-question sa kung ano ba talaga ang nangyari last week. Lord.
Abangan ang susunod na kabanata dyan. On another issue, may mga reaksyon na ba doon sa desisyon ng Supreme Court na nire-reject yung petition na yung TRO, na ipigilan TRO from the camp of Senator De La Rosa?
Lord, ang nakausap natin so far dyan is si Senator Raffy Tulfo, again from the Senate minority. And ang sinasabi niya, well, yan daw yung lumabas sa desisyon ng Korte Suprema and he could only wish the best for Senator Bato de la Rosa. Yung TRO kasi ito yung dinadasal o hinihingi ng kampo ni Senator Bato na haharangin o mahaharang muna yung pagpapaaresto sa kanya batid nga ng arrest warrant from the International Criminal Court. Ito yung dahil daw siya ay named as co-perpetrator sa war on drugs or yung crimes against humanity na kasong kinakaharap ni former President Rodrigo Duterte. Whereas si Senator Robin Padilla naman, kanina rin nakapanayam din siya ng media, nalulungkot daw siya sa lumabas na desisyon ng SC dito sa TRO, sa prayer nila. And then, ang naging side naman ni Attorney Israelito Torreon, legal counsel ng senador, they respect the Supreme Court's decision pero they will be filing a motion for reconsideration kasi hindi pa raw tapos yung kanilang sinusubukang ipaglaban, lalo yung constitutional issues na kanilang gustong mabigyan ng pagsasatuwid. I think let's also listen into a part of Senator Raffy Tulfo's comment on this one.
Well, good luck kay Sen. Bato.
Napaka-brief. Oh, good luck kay Senator Bato. Okay, sa dami ng nangyayari sa Senado, Marymon, muntik na natin makalimutan. Ano nang latest doon sa impeachment trial ng Vice President at yung usap-usapan bang kudetahan na isa na namang leadership change. Mukhang namatay na ba ito? O may mga narinig-rinig kang parang may bumibuelo lamang?
Lord, ang sinasabi ng liderato dito, ayaw niya raw talagang magsalita ng tapos. Kung ang alam niya, solid at intact pa ang majority, may pressure pa rin daw. Ito yung sinasabi rin na sa atin, and ito yung lagi natin nababanggit sa mga lumipas na araw na yung usapan pa rin ng kudeta, hindi siya nawawala. Tulad last week, ang sinabi ng during that time majority, hindi pa raw nakukuha ng minority yung numbers nila. Pero may nangyaring kudeta Monday last week. Doon nagpakita si Senator Bato. Netong Monday, may umuugong din. Lumabas pa nga yung pangalan ni Senator Kiko Pangilinan, Senator Mig Zubiri,
Sherwin Gatchalian.
and nadagdag na rin natin si Senator Sherwin Gatchalian. Pero netong Monday, wala rin nangyaring kudeta. Yesterday, wala rin nangyaring kudeta. Today, maingay pa rin yung kudeta, pero hindi rin siya nangyari sa session ngayong hapon. So, again, anything could still happen eh. Kung sakali mang mayroong pang kondisyon na ginagawa, ang sinasabi kasi ng ilang miyembro ng majority, meron pa rin daw pagtatapik from members of the minority para maglipat bakod yung mga majority senators. May offers daw, sabi ni Senator Amy tsaka ni SP Cayetano, may incentive offers daw, may term extension offers, if not, may threats. Though ito ay dinedebunk ng mga minority members, hindi pa rin nawawala yung usapin ng kudeta. And ang isang lumulutang pang pangalan to that is si former Senate President Chis Escudero, pero yesterday and today, hindi pa natin siya nakikita sa session floor.
Ako, abangan ang susunod na kabanata. But Marymon, before I let you go, sino-sino pa yung mga senador? Nakita natin yung isa na umiyak din ay si Senadora Loren Legarda. I'm sure kung nanonood kanina yon si Senator Bato de la Rosa na mababaw ang luha, alam natin yan, malamang ilumuha rin yon. Pero sino pa yung mga hindi na huli ng kamera na naging emosyonal?
Lord, kanina nasa may harapan kasi tayong part kung saan tumayo si Senator Pia Cayetano and then katapat niya si Senator Risa Hontiveros, harapan na part yan ng session floor facing the rostrum. Ang nakita natin nung umupo si Senator Pia, lumapit nga sa kanya si Senator Loren Legarda, Senate President pro tempore, offering her tissue to wipe her tears. Si Senator Camille Villar, nakita natin lumapit, Senator Amy Marcos, and on the side of the minority members, ito kasi majority sila yung lumalapit kay Senator Pia. Nakaupo lang na nakita natin sina Senator Risa, Senator Ping, Senator Tito Soto nung na-raise niya lang kung kailangan daw bang magkaroon ng specific committee to handle this one, yung investigation, or gagawa ba ng committee as a whole to do the investigation or yung legislative inquiry. Yung ibang mga senador nakita natin either nakaupo lang sila or nag-uusap-usap. Si Senator Joel Villanueva, nakita rin natin, naglilibot din siya, nakikipag-usap sa ilang mga miyembro ng senador. But then again, we're yet to know the context kung ano yung napapag-usapan nila during those times. Pero ang afterwards naman, may photo opportunity kasi itong mga senador kasama yung mga kinilalang atleta natin. And nagkatabi si Senator Pia Cayetano and si Senator Risa Hontiveros. And ang nakuha nating info, di naman daw sila nagkausap pero parang okay naman daw sila. The usual, kung magkatabi, okay, wala namang kailangan pang ipakita na away asot pusa. But then again, we'll wait sa mga susunod na araw.
All right. Thank you for that report. Our mobile journalist in the Senate, Marymon Reyes. More political developments ahead on Political Beat. And you're still watching Political Beat, an equally busy day in the House of Representatives. CCTV footage was also released showing Senators De La Rosa and Robin Padilla leaving together from the Senate premises. But, ladies and gentlemen, we have our mojo or mobile journalist in the House of Representatives. We have Arles de los Santos. All right, Arles. Go ahead, Arles.
Lord, sa ibang usapan naman tayo kabukod pa sa patuloy na development nga ng impeachment trial at patuloy na paghahanap kay Senator Bato de la Rosa, no, ay lumusot na nga sa second reading dito sa Kamara ang House Bill 8389 o ang working draft ng landmark anti-political dynasty bill sa Kamara na pangunahing akda ay sina House Speaker Bogie D at si Majority Leader Sandro Marcos dito mismo sa sesyon ng Kamara ngayong araw na hanggang sa ngayon ay nagpapatuloy, no. Pero dito, Lord, no, pinagbabawalan na sa second reading na ito, no, yung pagtakbo ng magkakasabay ng mga magkakamag-anak ng second degree of consanguinity and affinity. Kunwari, yung mga mag-iina, mag-asawa, yung lolo't lola at kanilang mga apo sa iisang political unit. So for example, dito sa Quezon City, kung nasaan tayo ngayon, hindi na pwedeng magkaparehas, no, na mag-ina yung tatakbo na pagka-mayor, kailangan isa lang, and then pagdating naman sa congressman, ibang political unit ulit yan, bawal yung magkapamilya na parehas sa tatakbo sa isang distrito, and yung iba naman, no, sa provincial government, ganun din, kailangan isa lang sa gubernatorial position, and then para naman sa national election, no, sa presidency and vice president, isa lang pwede sa isang pamilya at ganun din sa Senado, no. Pero Lord, kung matatandaan natin itong consolidated House Bill 8389, no, ang nakaanyo ng iba't ibang mga batikos mula sa mga kritiko at maging sa ating mga legal luminaries dahil tila nililegalize daw nito or justify nga yung sabay-sabay na pagtakbo ng mga political families ng magkakasabay. No? Dahilan nga yan para kung matatandaan natin, nag-withdraw ng kanilang authored bills sina Caloocan Representative Edgar Erice at ang mga kongresista ng Akbayan Party List. Lord.
Oo, ang labo naman kasi noon. Well, bibihira lang naman. I think ang gumagawa lang noon ay Taguig tsaka Kamsur. Yung mga magkakamag-anak na literally tumatakbo for is against each other for one position. No, bihirang-bihirang mangyari yun. Pero walang pagbabawal doon sa magkakamag-anak pero sa iba-ibang sangay ng isang distrito o isang probinsya, halimbawa.
Actually, Lord, kaparehas pa din halos ng working draft na una nga nating nakita, no, yung House Bill 8389. So ibig sabihin dito, Lord, pwede pa din na magkakasabay na magkaroon ng posisyon sa kapangyarihan o sa pamahalaan ang nanggaling sa isang pamilya basta magkakaiba lamang talaga sila ng political unit na nasasalian o tatakbuhan. No? For example, for mayor, pwede yan, may isang family for that, may isang senator, may isang president, merong isang governor, so pwede yan silang magkakasabay. And sa bilangan natin, pwedeng 5 na mga miyembro ng isang pamilya ang magkakasabay na tumakbo. No? Kaya Lord, kanina hindi naman basta-basta na nakalusot itong House Bill 8389, no? At nagkaroon ng period of interpolation si Akbayan Party List Representative Percy Sendanya na kung saan nga tinawag niya, no, na yung pangyayari daw sa Senado na barilan nitong nakaraang mga linggo ay kasunod nga ng pag-exist ng mga political dynasties sa bansa na kung saan ang mga ito daw ang mga lead characters. No? At sinasabi nga na maiiwasan daw sana ito kung wala itong mga political dynasty bill, yung itong mga political dynasty or yung families na ito, at ito daw punong-puno nga yung elements ng maaksyon na pangyayari doon sa Senado. No? Meron daw element ng drama, pagtatraidor at aksyon. At ang bida nga umano ay yung mga mula sa political dynasties and families. No? At kung ito raw nga yung magiging panukalang batas na lulusot sa Senado at mapipirmahan ng Pangulo, mananatili daw na mag-aasam ang publiko ng isang genuine na anti-political dynasty bill para nga masigurado na merong pantay na pagkakataon ng publiko na makalahok sa kanilang pamahalaan.
Ano kaya masasabi dyan ng katabi ko rito na author ng House Bill 00381, pero mamaya makausap natin siya. Alright, now, tungkol doon sa impeachment, okay. House spokesperson Zia Alonto Adyong says that the prosecution panel with the private lawyers are now on standby. But how prepared is the team? At may mga pinangalanan na ba ng mga private prosecutors ready to aid, kumbaga, the team?
Lord, hindi pa natin makukumpirma kung yung mga kumakalat na pangalan ay kasama na nga doon, no, sa mga prosecutors, private lawyers. Meron na tayong prosecutors mula dito sa House of Representatives, pero yung mga private lawyers na aalalay sa mga ito ay hindi pa natin kumpirmado kung sino-sino ang mga ito at ilan nga sila. No? Pero kasama sa kanilang pagpapukusan, syempre nga yung legalidad ng magiging impeachment trial laban kay Vice President Sara Duterte. Kasunod yan ng kumpirmasyon ng OVP na natanggap na nga, no, yung summon ng Senate na binibigyan nito hanggang June 1 para nga makapaghanda sa paparating na trial. No? Ayon kay Adyong, naghahanda na nga sila, yan yung mga private lawyers nila, at kabukod dyan yung kanilang paglaban, no, sa mga misinformation or disinformation na posibleng nga lumabas at lumutang sa pag-agulong ng mga pagdinig. No? Pero sinigurado naman nila na ang kanilang magiging tugon ay hindi para diktahan kung ano nga yung sinasabi o direksyon ng impeachment trial, kundi para lamang bigyang linaw kung ano nga ba yung mga pinag-uusapan o pag-uusapan sa Senado kapag gumulong na yung impeachment trial ni Vice President Sara Duterte, at kabukod dyan, ano nga ba yung mga kaukulan na kaakibat na mga resulta nito o mga hakbang, and syempre, no, hindi rin maligaw yung publiko dito sa impeachment trial ni Vice President Sara Duterte. Because at the end of the day, Lord, yung ating mga impeachable officials at ang iba pang lokal na opisyal ng ating pamahalaan ay halal ng bayan, kaya marapat daw na bantayan ito ng publiko.
Oy, Arles, so ibig sabihin ba, dalawa na ang spokespersons ng prosecution team ng Congress, si Rene Co at si Zia Adyong?
Tama ka dyan, Lord.
At paano ang hatian nila? Pinag-usapan ba kung on which parts, kunyari, of issues, magkukomento yung kung sino ba? May ganun bang hatian sila?
Wala pa naman so far na ganyan, Lord, no? Pero talagang inaasahan nila yung maraming mga impormasyon na magsisilutangan. At syempre yung kinatatakot nga nila, yung disinformation at misinformation mula sa pagulong ng impeachment trial ni Vice President Sara Duterte.
Alright. Any reactions from representatives, no, tungkol doon sa Supreme Court decision regarding Senator Bato de la Rosa?
Wala pa tayo nakakausap, Lord. Before tayo umere, nagpapatuloy pa yung sesyon ng Kamara dito. Pinag-uusapan naman yung Kalinga Bill, no? Na nais ngang umagapay o umalalay sa ating mga kapatid na apektado ng pabago-bagong sitwasyon at yung ating mga pangyayari, mga krisis na kinaharap, no? So aabangan natin sila, no? Pero syempre, yung NBI naman, yung DOJ, sinigurado naman na sa ngayon, wala pang order na arestuhin si Senator Bato de la Rosa, and at least for the part ng DOJ, palasyo na mismo ang nagsabi na sila ang bahalang mag-interpret at tumugon sa mga resolusyon na ilalabas ng Supreme Court sa TRO ni Senador Bato de la Rosa.
Alright. Arles, bago ka pakawalan, meron ba ulit na video ng speaker na sumasayaw, hawak mong beat, or kahit sinong deputy speaker siguro?
Wala naman, Lord, pero nagkaroon ng mga konting amendments, mga typographical errors, and then ayun nga, pwede na rin tumakbo ha, hindi na rin lilimitahan or pagbabawalan na tumakbo ng magkakasabay yung mag-aamang barangay tanod, barangay kagawad at barangay captain. Kasama yan sa mga inamyendahan dito sa plenaryo kanina, at kabukod nga dyan yung tie natin na tinatawag. Kapag yung galing sa isang pamilya na nag-tie sila, inalis na din yun, and yung few typographical errors, and asahan natin, tutukan pa rin kung paano nga ba gugulong itong anti-political dynasty bill sa third reading nito sa Kamara bago dumiretso sa Senado.
So pag tayo ba, toss coin pa rin, Arles?
Wala pang nabibigay, Lord, na explanation kung ano yung ipapalit. Pero inalis muna yon doon sa draft or working bill ng House Bill 8389.
Hindi joke yung toss coin, ha? Officially, talaga na doon sa
Yes.
COMELEC rules talaga yan. Maganda minsan, baka chess or full contact martial arts. Anyway, hawak mo ang beat sa Congress, ang ating mobile journalist, Arles de los Santos. All right, and as the House of Representatives prepares for the impeachment trial of the Vice President, we now speak with one of the members of the prosecution panel. Joining us tonight is Bukidnon 2nd District Representative Jonathan Keith Flores. Congressman, magandang gabi. Thank you for joining us.
Magandang gabi. Thank you for having me.
All right, ikaw ang... Okay, medyo simulan ko sa dalawang layers ng tanong. Ang konsepto ng Solid South ay nabiak na kasi out of 61 Mindanaoan congressmen, 8 lang ang bumoto against the impeachment. In terms of abstentions, siyam, tama ba?
Yeah.
And you are one of them.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Doon muna sa first part, sa abstention muna kasi you would say na you consulted your kababayans,
Yeah.
at you feel that there's sentiment. But at the same time, you joined the prosecution team.
Yeah.
How do you...
Reconcile it?
Yeah.
Well, ang abstention naman was in deference to the sentiments of the people. Na they were against it, no? So, as respeto na lang sa sentiments ng mga tao doon sa area, I parang opted to abstain. I could not vote no also because I was part of the Committee on Justice and I saw yung anong evidence that was presented. No? The evidence was presented against the Vice President and no evidence was presented in favor of the Vice President because she never showed up. So parang imposible naman that I will be voting against the articles of impeachment kasi nga nakita ko lahat ng evidence against her. So para ma-balance lang, no? I mean, respecting the preference of the people and at the same time what I know of what was presented also dun sa Committee on Justice, I abstained.
That's a rather strange gray area,
Yeah, it is,
Congressman.
it is, yeah.
O kasi parang, I don't know what is stranger, that or yung sa kay Congresswoman Zubiri na sinabi niya because she's married to a senator who will be a judge at the impeachment trial.
Yeah.
Kaya baka raw makulayan, ano? So, you're taking into consideration the sentiments
Yeah.
of your kababayans. All right. But a lot of people would say that what casts doubt or suspicions into that motive is the Lakas. You're a member of the Lakas party, na same party
In the previous
din,
elections, yeah.
ni Speaker.
Yes. Well,
Dati Speaker pala, sorry.
yeah. The party had nothing to do with it. No? So as far as being appointed naman as a prosecutor, prosecutors are nominated and elected. No? You don't go and volunteer for it. No? So the majority or the leadership would decide kung sino ba ang pipiliin nila as prosecutors. No? So they present it to the plenary and the plenary votes on it. So the majority accepted my nomination and elected me as one of the prosecutors. So now, how is it different from any other lawyer accepting a case? Diba? So it's like, I saw naman the evidence against it, against the Vice President. So sabi ko, it was not as difficult for me to accept also the position as a public prosecutor. It's not also the first time na nangyari yan. No? It also happened before with Congressman Rudy Fariñas. He also did not vote for the impeachment, but was also elected as a
And was part of the
public
panel.
prosecutor. Yes. Yeah.
Siya yung nag-explain at ng pizza pie at
Ah.
biglang naliwanagan yung isang senador doon.
Yes.
Itawag, itago natin sa pangalang LL. Ayan. Alright, Congressman,
Yes,
sa impeachment, you're in charge, you're one of, yung nakatoka sa iyo ay dalawang articles of impeachment. Can you tell us about them?
Yeah. It's ill-gotten wealth and yung confidential funds. I think I was assigned to those two articles because I was also part of the Quadcom before, actively participated also in the hearings of good government. So familiarity with these causes of action is already there.
Congressman, hindi ka ba natatakot? Ikaw ay galing Ateneo de Davao.
Yes, sir.
At talagang true blue Mindanaoan ka, pinanganak ka sa Butuan, lumaki ka sa Cagayan de Oro. Tama?
Sa Bukidnon po.
Bukidnon. Oo. Ayan, at malay-balay pa ang hawak ng distrito, no? Under you yan. Paano mo inanavigate? Medyo delikado tong ginagalawan mo, Congressman.
That's true, but I think siguro if you just present yung legal-legal lang, no? Yung present the evidence in a way na maintindihan ng mga tao at na maintindihan ng mga senator judges natin, no side comments as to this or that, siguro I think that will suffice, no? Ang importante lang is present it the way it should be presented. Nothing more, nothing less.
Can you give an example of unnecessary side comments?
Like,
Narinig natin itong sa committee, mga committee hearings. Yung pag-quote ba ng mga quotes from movies ay bahagi niyan o hindi naman?
I don't do that. Pati yung mga personal attacks, I don't do personal attacks also. So sa akin, like, ano lang, yung questions lang that may, basta may legal foundation lang yung questions. Then that's what I will pursue.
Yung honest or objective assessment ng iyong, sabihin natin, yung trial skills mo, no? Yung court skills mo. Of course, you're part of a law firm.
Yes.
Pero,
I am.
kamusta sila? Rusty na ba? O kailangan na ng konting...
There's still, it's still an existing law firm in Davao City. No? So my partners are all there. No? Okay naman sila. But also, I also asked permission naman na I was elected and then I informed them na I will be taking on the position as public prosecutor.
Congressman, may mga kwento-kwento na tropa mo raw yung asawa ng Vice President.
In what sense na tropa?
Magkakilala, magkaibigan daw
Of
kayo.
course, Davao is not that big naman. No? We know each other. Yeah.
Like, nung gano'ng kalalim ang inyong pagkakilala sa isa't isa?
Siguro we've known each other for quite some time na rin, but not really like good friends, but kakilala. Kakilala.
Opo. Okay. Kung sinabi ninyo na ang opinion ninyo is, nung January, your opinion is that the Supreme Court committed an overreach. Oo. After January ba, ganun pa rin ang opinion mo? At kung ikaw ang masusunod, anong mga procedures or committee procedures or House rules para sa iyong kailangan ng revisions soon?
Rules on impeachment.
Yeah.
No? Actually, okay na rin yun na desisyonan ng Supreme Court. No? Para at least we'd know where they're coming from din as far as the rules on impeachment are concerned. So, ang ginalaw lang naman nila is yung second mode, no, na yung 1/3 vote by the members of the House. So I think that's really fine with me also na they came out with that. Although sa tingin ko, it should have been left totally to the discretion of the House. But since they already came up with a decision, then sabi ko, let's just change the rules to conform with what the decision was. Para hindi na paulit-ulit yung akyat ng Supreme Court and have it questioned again. Di ba? Para okay na. Lahat, no?
Okay, kayo ba confident na matutuloy talaga itong trial sa Senado or are you on guard for possible surprises, Kong?
Well, honestly, no, but anything can really happen with the Senate, no, kasi they're the ones who will be deciding naman how this will proceed, no. So if there are technical issues that they might vote upon, hindi natin alam, di ba? So you never know if somebody would raise a motion later on, kung ano yung motion na yun, and how the majority will decide will be totally dependent on how the Senate sees it. No?
Nako. Okay. Kong, umupo ba kayo kanina doon sa discussion sa Senado? Sa Kongreso, doon sa anti-dynasty bill.
I left early. I had a meeting outside of the house kanina. But I heard some of the portions ng discussions with Zia Diong and Tinio and Sendanya.
Itong bill na final mo, itong 00381, gaano kalayo ito or gaano ka-similar doon sa pinag-uusapan kanina?
Similar.
Isa ba siya sa na-consolidate?
Yes, one of the. Similar in a sense na second degree yung limitations. But yung sa akin kasi bawal yung may succession. Dapat may gap talaga. No? May parang rest na isang term. Bawal din yung simultaneous with other positions. No? But yung na-adapt ng majority of the members of the committee and which was what was consolidated into the bill of what's being sponsored by Congressman Zia Diong was, sabihin nilang iba, watered down. No? But for me, it's still a good start. No? Kasi from nothing to something, at least may something na pag-usapan natin about the anti-political dynasty.
Parang sabi nila, pinag-usapan na nga, gusto nyo pa ipasa, grabe naman sila. Alright. So, Kong, anong dapat nating abangan in the next few weeks?
I was informed na in terms of the impeachment ba?
At pati mangyayari sa Congress.
Oh, okay. Well,
Wala namang mga nagbabadyang kudeta sa Senado, sa Kongreso.
wala naman. Wala akong balita.
Kasi ang perception ngayon, compared to the Senate, dati, the Congress was the more notorious. Kumbaga, younger sibling
Right.
na magulo. Ngayon, parang wow, sila yung may disiplina, sila yung medyo tahimik, sila yung moving almost as one. Yung mga kuya at mga ate ngayon yung magugulo. Okay. Iyon ba ay nakatakdang ma-maintain? Pwede mabasag yan anytime soon.
Yung stability sa House, I think okay pa naman so far. No? Speaker Bojo D has handled the House pretty much fairly naman. No? Walang pressures on how or what to vote on or anong ipupush na priority bills. Parang hinahayaan niya lang na we do our thing. No? Like, let's say with the impeachment now, we're still attending our committee hearings, attending the plenary sessions, despite the fact that we also have to prepare for the hearings at the same time. So,
Alright.
still happening.
Kung wala ka bang mga video na sumasayaw ka, nasa hawak mo ang beat, mga ganyan?
Wala.
Alright. Hawak niya ang beat sa 2nd District ng Bukidnon. Ladies and gentlemen, salamat po sa inyong oras, Bukidnon 2nd District Representative Jonathan Keith Flores. Thank you, Kong.
Thank you.
Wala tayong oras sa i-shoutout si Maan Enriquez, ang ating reporter dyan sa House. Thank you, sir.
Thank you po.
All right, and Political Beat will be back after this quick break. And you're still watching Political Beat. So no TRO, no legal shield for Senator Bato, at least for now, after the Supreme Court denied his camp's bid to block the ICC arrest warrant. So where does the palace stand amid everything? And for that, we shall be talking to Newswipe's palace correspondent, Maricel Halili. Thank you, Mase. I know, very busy ka. At gusto mo na umuwi after sa totoo lang.
Oo, good evening. Yes.
Okay, Kanina, sinabi ni Yusek Claire, ang palace spokesperson, or as they call her, UCC.
UCC, si
kapilang,
Ante.
Oo.
Oh.
So, ano ang stand ng Malacanang? So, parang open season na ba kay Bato?
Well, clearly, ang sinabi ni Undersecretary Claire Castro following yung decision ng Supreme Court na pinakita daw na valid yung warrant of arrest against kay Senator Bato de la Rosa. Because for the longest time, yun yung pinagdedebatihan, sinasabi ng camp ni Senator Bato na no, kailangan muna na from local court para kilalanin yung arrest warrant. Pero sabi nga ni Yusek Castro kanina, dahil dun sa nilabas na desisyon ng Supreme Court na hindi sila mag-i-issue ng temporary restraining order, gaya nung yung minanifest ng kampo ni Senator Bato, clearly, it states na valid yung warrant of arrest. Tapos, of course, ang kasunod na tanong dyan, paano ngayon umalis si Senator Bato from the Senate? Does it mean na maiko-consider na siya na fugitive? Di ba? Kasi hindi natin alam kung nasan siya. Ang sabi ni Yusek Castro, kung ang pagbabatayan natin, yung naging statement ng Office of the Solicitor General, yes, he is considered as pugante.
Pero wala kinalaman sa Anon Palace. May dalawang former Supreme Court justices magkaibang opinion. Yung isa sabi, hindi pa. Yung isa, very clearly, siya ay fugitive. Pero, okay, tinanong ba ni Auntie Claire, at may nagtanong ba kay Auntie Claire kung ang malinaw daw ay nasa Burger King. Pero as to which branch, yan ang hindi sigurado. Pero sabi niya, posible sa Davao daw. Okay, so ano ang pwedeng gawin ng executive at anong hindi pwedeng gawin ng executive at this particular point?
Alam mo, kanina ang tanong namin kay Yusek Castro, malinaw yung naging panawagan ni Senator Bato de la Rosa kay President Marcos, asking for his protection na bilang isang Pilipino, tulungan naman siya, di ba? Willing daw siya to face dito na lang sa local court, hindi doon sa International Criminal Court. Pero ang sabi ni Yusek Castro dyan kanina, hindi pa rin naiba yung statement nila. Ang pwede lang daw gawin ni PBBM, sundin kung ano yung nakasaad sa batas. Pero kung ano yung ibig niyang sabihin doon, hindi pa kasi niya na detalye. It's more of yung interpretation kung ano yung susunod na hakbang, bahala na daw yung DOJ to explain.
Ang opinion dyan ni Justice Carpio, kailangan magpakita ka muna bago ka pagbigyan. Ganun daw ang procedure. Okay, pero nung pinresent kahapon, iiba na ako, kakambyo na ako. Nung pinresent sa press conference kahapon with PNP Chief and the DILG Secretary, nagulat ba kayo sa mga pinakita? As in, or yung overwhelming suspicion ba ina-confirm lang?
Well, siguro ang magandang i-highlight doon na talagang nakatawag ng pansin sa amin, yung pinakita yung hallway dun sa may canteen, di ba? Kasi parang ang kiniklaim ng Office of the Senate Sergeant at Arms kay Mau Aplasca na warning shot yung binigay niya dahil nakakita siya ng dahilan para magbigay ng warning shot. Of course, kapag ganun yung narinig mong explanation, bakit gaano ba kadami yung NBI agents na nandun? Pero kasi kung ang titingnan natin, yung CCTV footage na pinakita ni na Secretary Remulla yesterday, dalawa na lang yung NBI agents na natire nung nangyari yung pagpaputok ng warning shot. Tapos, dun din sa hallway, makikita na dun sa labas, kung saan nangyari yung putukan, 4 na shots agad eh. 4 na beses nag-discharge ng barel yung Sergeant at Arms. So, kitang-kita na kumubli yung NBI agent, dun na niya ginawa yung kanyang cover fire. Pero parang wala namang makita kung ibe-base dun sa CCTV na pwedeng mag-trigger. Pero kasi hindi naman maririnig dun kung ano yung naging usapan nila eh. Kasi dun sa loob ng Senate, makikita sa CCTV na sumilip pa eh. 'Di ba? Yung kampo ni Aplasca dun sa bintana. So yung part kasi na yun, di naman natin narinig kung ano yung napag-usapan, kung ano yung naka-trigger dito kay Aplasca, kung ano nangyari. Pero kahapon ang hinihintay talaga namin yung CCTV na umalis si Senator Bato from the Senate with Senator Robin Padilla na apparently nagkaroon ng technical issue daw kaya hindi na ipakita. But kanina, binigay na ni Secretary Remulla yung copy ng CCTV nag-usap kami over the phone kasi syempre ayoko naman mag-assume kung sino dun si Senator Bato, kung sino dun si Senator Robin Padilla. So doon sa CCTV, yung naka-white, that was Senator Robin Padilla, yung naka-cap and dark jacket, yun daw si Senator Bato.
Hindi recognizable ang mga faces.
Ang hirap tingnan kapag gano'n di ba? Kaya nga yung ikatlo, nakasama nila na lumabas dun sa office, hindi pa nila ma-identify kung sino kasi hindi kita yung mukha. So kailangan pa nilang identify kung sino yung pangatlo na lumabas doon. But clearly, pagdating nila doon sa parking lot ng Senate, sumakay sila sa puting SUV na ang sinasabi ni Secretary Remulla, owned by Senator Robin.
At umamin siya na kanya.
Oo, umamin nga siya.
Pero hindi ba si Senator Bato lang ang distinctly may ganong klaseng katawan?
Yes,
Oo.
yes.
So marami ba siyang kapareho or mahirap din i-distinguish doon?
Ako, personally, hindi naman kasi ako expert sa pag-distinguish sa mga tao. Nahirapan ako kasi hindi naman ako sanay na nakikita siyang nakakap. So dahil nakasombrero siya, nahirapan akong i-identify. Tapos naka-dark pa siya na jacket. So ang hirap. Hindi ko alam kung disguise niya ba yun, kung bakit ganun yung naging forma niya. Kaya kinailangan, of course, natin ng someone in authority to confirm kung sino yun. And it's kinonfirm naman ni Secretary Remulla na, it was Senator Bato.
Baka naka-wig pa yun, hindi natin alam. Kung
Hindi
sino
natin
yun, diba?
alam. But clearly, ang sinabi ni Secretary Remulla, ang nakita nila from the Senate, dumiretso papuntang Makati. After that, di na nila alam.
From Makati talaga.
Oo.
I see. So pero ang DOJ ba ay may sinabi na? Pasensya na, kasi pero lahat ito under the executive kasi. So
Yun nga
may plano na ba? May sinabi na ba?
Well, kanina, hindi ko nakausap yung DOJ kanina, but yesterday, I was able to ask Justice Secretary Vida kung ano yung nakikita niyang liabilities. Kasi if it's true, na-confirm kanina sa CCTV, nakasama si Senator Robin Padilla, and ano ba yung sakop ng Senate custody kapag sinabing protective custody ng Senado, ano ba yung cover nun? Ang sabi lang kasi ni Secretary Vida...
Hulaan ko. Hindi ako pwede magsabi ng opinion ko. Tama ba? Ganyan din last week.
Oo. Nag-refuse muna siya na sabihin kung sino-sino yung tingin nila na may mga liabilities dun sa pangyayari. Ongoing pa daw yung pag-aaral nila, so kumakala pa daw sila ng more evidence.
Nag-press con pa sila. This could have been an email, sa mga... Hanggang ngayon, ganun pa rin. Ano? So,
Very careful.
Hindi pa pala sapat itong investigasyon na to. So, the same way din na may mga senador na hindi tinatanggap yung CCTV at spliced daw. Pero feeling ko kaya sinasabi niyang spliced, yung umaangal, kasi nag-jam yung baril niya at kailangan alalayan.
Tinulungan ng aid,
Diba, sila yung
inayos.
pagkamacho niya, di ba? Ay, hindi marunong gumamit ng baril. Posible.
Inayos. Pero tinanong natin kay Secretary Remulla yan kanina, yung tungkol sa sinabi ni Aplasca, na spliced yung CCTV. Sabi ng Secretary Remulla, paano magiging spliced, may timestamp?
Yeah.
Tapos number 2, galing din sa CCTV ng Senate yung footage na yan. So, dinenay niya na spliced.
Ang inaabangan natin, yung sinasabi mong pinadala ni DILG Secretary Remulla, showing the exact time na nag-exit yung dalawang senador na magkasama, Bato and Robin Padilla.
Yeah, yun yung pinakita niya kanina.
Nakita ko. Alright, pero mahirap ma-distinguish dahil either magaling umanggulo o made in China yung CCTV or CDR King, kumbaga. Pero hindi pa tayo tapos. Maraming salamat. Marami pang gustong itanong pero thank you, Maricel Harili.
Thank you.
Alam ko, pagod ka na. Gusto mo na. Thank you, Maricel Harili, ang ating News 5 Malacanang correspondent. And Political Beat continues after the break. Every year, at every graduation ceremony of the Philippine Military Academy, these words are often heard: honor, courage, sacrifice. These are noble and ancient words, polished by decades of ritual, synchronized marching, brass bands, white gloves, and medals that capture the Baguio sunlight. But perhaps this year, President Marcos should have spoken less about glory, less about the usual cliches, and more about the virtue of restraint. That one forgotten virtue in an age where too many public officials mistake volume for leadership. That power in uniform is a dangerous thing when it forgets duty and humility. That the shameful spectacle surrounding Ronald De La Rosa should remind us all of an old Filipino problem. The temptation among the powerful men to believe that noise is strength, that swagger is patriotism, and that blind loyalty to personalities is greater than loyalty to institutions. And perhaps no image captured this strange political moment better or more painfully than Bato himself last week loudly singing the PMA hymn. Defiantly, yes. Emotionally, yes. And rather comically off-key. It was an absurd but an allegorical scene. Here was a graduate of an institution built on discipline and precision, bizarrely belting out the anthem of his alma mater. A minor thing, of course, a farcical sideshow, definitely. But the cringe is not in the performance itself, but in the senator's intending the song to be a kind of battle cry to rally his fellow officers to his own personal defense. History is full of nations where men in uniform slowly stopped serving the people, instead began serving factions, clans, and their own political idols. Merely following orders was the most common excuse given by Nazi officers on trial in 1945 Nuremberg. The president's PMA graduation speech should also have reminded young officers that the badge and the gun do not exist to protect egos and loyalties, and that courage is not merely charging into danger. Sometimes courage is the ability to remain calm when the political crowd demands senseless blood. Sometimes courage is remaining faithful to the law, even when your command is to break the law. Putting innocent civilians in harm's way for your own personal protection is not bravery. The honor code of the PMA, a cadet does not lie, does not cheat, does not steal. But sometimes there's such a thing as being too truthful, as when De La Rosa admitted in an interview that in his prolonged hiding and constant flight, he would be much rather be called cowardly than stupid. Because the tragedy of modern Philippine politics is that too many leaders now confuse toughness with theatricality. The loud man becomes strong, the man who threatens becomes decisive, and the insulting man becomes authentic. So whether senator or security officer, the honorable soldier does not engage in cheap theatrics, especially those that could have endangered innocent civilians. And slowly, public service begins resembling a variety gag show, complete with canned laughter, emotional outbursts, cat and mouse chases through fire exits, and one where we see someone falling downstairs. And painfully solemn singing where, pardon the pun, the notes and the words are badly butchered. And that's the political beat for today, Wednesday, the 20th of May. My name is Lourdes Vera. Good evening.